I'd like to start today's video by asking you a question about how you honor your value as a spiritual person. If you identify with this word, if you consider yourself someone who is very attuned to and just very specific about quality, and someone who is certainly upholding or maintaining certain boundaries when it comes to how you operate on a day-to-day basis, what you give your time or energy or money to, then this is something to consider. How do you honor your value? And let me give you an example of how I honor. As a matter of fact, let me give you 5 examples of how I honor my value as a spiritual individual, as a woman entrepreneur, or as a female in general who has values to uphold, who is specific and selective to what I give my time, my energy, and my money to. And one of those ways is actually conscious jewelry. And that's how I want to kind of say it, is conscious jewelry. So I primarily, and I'm not going to say completely 100% because that wouldn't be true, but primarily, like I'm talking like 80-90% of the time, I wear jewelry that is either gold, white gold, yellow gold, silver, gemstone jewelry, or crystal jewelry. So I very specifically look for pieces that are high quality, that are high frequency actually. So I'm very particular about that. And I find most mainstream jewelry and a lot of the sort of like the cheaper stuff that you can find out there in regular stores, I just don't really vibe with, because they're simply not high quality and they're certainly not high vibrational. A lot of them are made with very cheap metals. And that's just not something that I'm willing to put on my skin, because I know and I understand that the skin is the largest organ of the body. And we absorb literally everything, including the jewelry and whatever is rubbing off of that jewelry. We absorb that into our skin. What I wear, what I expose my skin to really, really matters to me. And one of the necklaces that I'm actually wearing today, which is this cute mama necklace, this one is from a company called Analuisa, and they have a beautiful website online, analuisa.com, and they have very high quality, long lasting, hypoallergenic, water resistant, and sustainable jewelry pieces that are, by the way, very, very timeless, very classic, very beautiful, very elegant, actually. So if you want to increase your elegance, or if you want to elevate your style without breaking the bank, then check out analuisa.com. They have a beautiful selection of gold-plated or solid gold earrings, necklaces, bracelets. I'm actually wearing one of their bracelets here today. This one is called Aura. It is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's a very timeless piece. It matches with a lot of the things that I wear. And then this mama necklace, like I said, which is gorgeous. And I absolutely love it because I'm a mama. Their designs start at just $39, and the more you buy, the more you save. So definitely check out the link in my description box below. They offer free fast shipping anywhere in the US and crazy affordable shipping for anywhere else outside of the US. They also have a 2-year warranty, which means that if there's anything wrong with your jewelry piece, or if it's broken or anything like that, then you can reach out to them and they would be more than happy to support you and help you. So if you want to elevate your style on a budget this summer, definitely check out analuisa.com. Now, the second way that I honor my value is by choosing conscious clothing. And what I mean by that is that I'm going to say 80 to 90% of my wardrobe consists of 100% or a mix, but mostly like 100% cotton clothing with a few linen pieces. There are still some polyester pieces in my closet, but this is something that I'm now transitioning out of, and I'm slowly pulling more and more of the poly pieces out of my wardrobe and then replacing them with cotton. So I really, really am very particular about fabrics. I'm very, very particular about the feel of fabrics on my skin and whether that fabric is breathable or not breathable. And I always tend to gravitate towards cotton or linen or hemp or like just natural fibers. And I find that the higher in frequency that we go, the more we're going to be pulled towards higher quality products, higher quality materials, higher quality everything, like higher quality friendships, everything. Like this is on a material plane, emotional, physical, mental, because it's just what feels good. It's what feels better. And if you notice, because this is something I've noticed, if you notice and if you pay attention, you will realize that certain pieces of clothing, especially ones that are very highly synthetic materials, like I find myself almost becoming like restless in them or even like lethargic. Like I just don't feel like it allows my energy to circulate in a proper way. I feel like it like chokes my skin, like my skin doesn't breathe as well. Even with those like high-tech materials that they now have for workout gear, I find even those types of materials, even though it says it's highly breathable, I find I actually sweat even more in them because it's like it doesn't breathe, like it just doesn't allow any air circulation around my body. So being very conscious of the clothing that you put on your body is definitely another way that you can honor your own value, and it is certainly a way that I honor mine. The third way that I honor my value is that I don't cave to trends. And I think I've mentioned this on previous videos, but I do not cave to trends whatsoever. I do not judge people that cave to trends because I can see how incredibly enticing certain products are, especially the way they're marketed. But I simply don't cave to trends, particularly trends that are not in alignment with my value system. And the reason why I do this is because I just feel like if something isn't in alignment with me, if something would, like if I'm only buying something because it's marketed really, really well and because everyone else is buying it or everyone else around me has it, it feels that much more like in opposition to what I stand for. And this is a value that is really connected to how I feel about myself. And when I feel like I'm getting something or buying something just because everybody else has it, it kind of makes me feel like a follower. And I don't like that feeling because I don't feel like a follower on a day-to-day basis. I feel like a leader. And so check in with yourself about that too. Like if you feel like you're a leader, then what are some of the things that maybe that you're caving to, that you're buying into simply because it's really good marketing or simply because it's pushed so heavily in our faces, that you end up caving because repetition is definitely one of the ways in which people market, right? So when something is repeatedly over and over heard or seen, or a certain emotion within us is evoked through the marketing strategies, that's when we tend to cave. And so pay attention to that because that's something I pay attention to. So I never ever to this day, I do not own a Stanley. I never purchased one. I'm not into the Crocs, even though the Crocs were actually like really out for a while and then they seem to have made a comeback. I literally have one Croc and it's like extremely worn and gross because it's what I use for gardening, simply because it's easy to slip my feet in and out of it. That's the only Croc I have. I most certainly did not buy into the bubble skirt hype. That was just absolutely not anything that exposes my body too much. I don't feel comfortable in. I have never made a purchase on Temu or on Shein. These are just websites that, again, I feel like really heavily market consumerism. So they're literally like pushing you, and that's why Temu commercials pop up so frequently and Shein commercials pop up so frequently, is because they want you to buy. They want you to purchase as much as possible, right? But I feel like it causes so much damage to our planet. And when you're conscious, these are just not things that you can prescribe to, because you know that you participating in that, you're adding to the problem. So that's something that bothers me, and I just don't add to the problem. Not to mention that I have seen way too many videos that prove the quality of these items that are purchased on these websites are not good. They're not high quality. They're very quick, very thrown together. Tons and tons of synthetic fibers when it comes to clothing, for example, on these websites. So again, just doesn't align with my values. And so I'm not even going to attempt or even look at their websites to see if there's anything I would buy on there. So I really trust and listen to my intuition when it comes to what I'm buying, where I'm buying it, and who I'm buying it from. The fourth way that I honor my value is I do not use plug-in air fresheners or any kind of synthetic artificial air fresheners that are usually actually filled with chemicals, very toxic chemicals that are not good for us to be inhaling. So instead of using those types of air fresheners, because of course I love my house smelling nice and creating a certain ambiance with scents within my home, but I do that using essential oils. So I diffuse oils a lot. I wear them on my skin because I know they're non-toxic. I also burn sage, palo santo, or incense to create a nice smell within the home. Actually, the sage at this point has become such a staple smell within my home that I literally crave the smell of it. Like, it just smells so good. It always gives me this like healing, cleansing kind of vibe every time I burn sage or even any of my incense. So yeah, essential oils, incense, sage, Palo Santo, anything and everything that is natural, I'm down for. The fifth way that I honor my value is I actually don't like to wear a lot of makeup. Again, from like an overconsumption, overconsumerism perspective, I find I just don't want to have a lot. I don't want this like overwhelm of like looking at all this makeup and like, oh man, like makeup has expiry dates, right? So I don't like to stash in a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't certainly want to put a bunch of different makeup on my face. I'm very particular about what I use for that as well. I do use just sort of regular drugstore type of makeup, but it's very simple. It's very basic. Even my makeup routine is like 10-15 minutes tops, usually, to do my makeup. So it's like a basic foundation or a basic concealer, mascara, blush, a brow pencil and a lip pencil. And then for lipstick, I don't even use lipstick or buy lipstick. I actually just use like a tinted lip balm. So very, very simple, very minimal. It's not because I'm in the clean girl thing or the clean girl look or whatever these labels are. I don't like labels, so I don't prescribe to any of that stuff either. It's just simply what I wear because it's what feels most light, most airy on my skin. And because I don't like the overly done up look. I certainly don't like that on a day-to-day basis. But even when I go out in general, even if I'm going to some big event, which yesterday I was at a big event, it's just not the look I'm going for. So that's another way that I honor my personal value. It's how I stay true to myself, stay true to my intuition, and really just do what feels good for me rather than following any trend or following on any influencer influences that simply don't align with me. So let me know in the comments below how you honor your value, what are the particular things that you do that put you in control and keep you in alignment and in honoring your personal value and what is important for you. I would love to hear about it in the comments below. And like I mentioned, if you would like to elevate your style without breaking your budget, definitely check out analuisa.com. See what kind of selection they have. Like I said, the more you buy, the more discount you get. So check out the description box below for that link, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.